Admiral Zethkari adjusted his crystalline carapace as he gazed upon the holographic display showing the approaching fleet. For 3 centuries, the hegemony had swept across the galaxy like an unstoppable tide, their biomechanical warships, consuming entire star systems. No species had ever mounted a successful defense against their living vessels that could regenerate, adapt, and evolve mid-battle. "Admiral," his tactical officer hissed through translator implants. "The unknown fleet maintains its approach vector. They refuse to acknowledge our dominance protocols." Zethkari's mandibles clicked in amusement. Another foolish species rushing toward extinction. The hologram showed roughly 200 vessels, primitive metal constructs that barely registered on their bioscanners. No organic components, no adaptive armor, no evolutionary matrices. Just cold, dead metal, floating through the void. "What do the archives say about this species?" he inquired, though he already suspected they were dealing with another minor civilization making its last desperate stand. "They call themselves humans, Admiral. Carbon-based bipeds from a world they name Earth. Our advanced scouts reported they only achieved faster-than-light travel 50 solar cycles ago. Primitive weapons, basic defensive capabilities. Their ships appear to be constructed entirely of refined metals and synthetic polymers." The Admiral's secondary eyes dilated with predatory anticipation. "Inform the fleet. We shall make an example of these humans that will resonate across the remaining free worlds. Deploy the Devourer-class bioships to the front. Let them witness true evolutionary superiority." The hegemony fleet moved with organic grace, their ships resembling massive sea creatures more than traditional spacecraft. Tentacles writhed along their hulls. Sensor organs pulsed with bioluminescent light, and weapon ports dilated like hungry mouths. Each vessel was a living entity, bred for war and capable of learning from every engagement. As the distance closed, Zethkari studied the human formation. Their ships maintained rigid geometric patterns, no fluidity, no organic adaptation to the battlefield's changing dynamics. They flew in straight lines like mindless drones, their formations as predictable as mathematical equations. "Sir?" The tactical officer's voice carried a note of confusion. "The humans are broadcasting on multiple frequencies. It appears to be music?" Through the bridge speakers came an alien sound, rhythmic, percussive, with melodic elements that seemed to build upon themselves in layers. The humans called it Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries, though the hegemony officers found it incomprehensible. "Psychological warfare," Zethkari dismissed. "They attempt to project confidence they do not possess. Open fire when in range. Show them the futility of opposing evolution itself." The first exchange of weapons fire painted space in violent colors. Plasma streams and bioelectric discharges lanced out from the hegemony vessels, striking the human ships. The Admiral expected to see hulls dissolve and atmospheres vent into space as they had witnessed countless times before. Instead, the human ships absorbed the impact and returned fire with kinetic projectiles that moved faster than anything the hegemony had encountered. Solid metal slugs accelerated to significant fractions of light speed punched through bioarmor that had evolved to deflect energy weapons. "Interesting," Zethkari mused, as one of his Devourer-class ships shuddered under the primitive assault. "They rely purely on kinetic force. No sophistication but impressive velocity." The battle intensified, and the Admiral began to notice disturbing patterns. The human ships didn't adapt like living vessels, but they coordinated with a precision that seemed almost supernatural. When one ship was damaged, others immediately adjusted their positions to cover its retreat. When his bioships began to adapt their armor to deflect kinetic impacts, the humans switched to energy weapons. When the hegemony vessels evolved resistance to those, the humans deployed something entirely unexpected. "Admiral!" The tactical officer's voice carried panic. "The humans are launching some kind of debris field." On the tactical display, thousands of small objects separated from the human vessels. At first, Zethkari thought they were escape pods or perhaps primitive missiles. Then he realized what he was seeing as his bioships began colliding with the objects. Are those, metal fragments? He asked in disbelief. Refined iron, sir. Thousands of tons scattered in precise patterns across our flight path. The humans are using basic physics against us. The hegemony ships, evolved for sophisticated combat against energy weapons and biowarfare, found themselves crippled by simple metal debris moving at relativistic speeds. Their organic hulls, designed to self-repair and adapt, couldn't process the concept of being literally sandblasted by iron filings. But the humans weren't finished. As the hegemony fleet struggled with the debris field, the human vessels executed maneuvers that defied every tactical doctrine in the Admiral's experience. They split into smaller formations, attacking from multiple vectors simultaneously while maintaining perfect coordination. How are they communicating so efficiently? Zethkari demanded. There's no detectable bio-neural network between their vessels. Unknown, sir. Their communication appears to be purely electromagnetic, but the complexity and speed of their coordination suggests. The officer never finished his sentence as 3 human vessels executed what would later be called the Terran Trident, a coordinated attack where they approached from different angles and fired simultaneously at the exact same point on a bioship's hull. The concentrated kinetic impact overwhelmed the vessel's evolutionary defenses and punched straight through to its core organs. For the first time in 3 centuries, a hegemony Devourer-class bioship died in combat. Impossible, the Admiral whispered as more of his ships fell to the human tactics. They fought with a cold, calculating precision that his organic vessels couldn't match or adapt to. Every human action seemed to have been planned dozens of moves in advance, accounting for variables that the bioships couldn't even perceive. As his fleet crumbled around him, Zethkari finally understood what made these humans so dangerous. The hegemony had evolved their ships to fight other living things, creatures driven by instinct, emotion, and biological imperatives. But humans had built machines guided by pure logic and crewed by minds that could think beyond evolutionary programming. They hadn't just created ships of metal and polymer. They had created something the galaxy had never seen before, tools of war unbound by the limitations of biological thought. The final human transmission came as Admiral Zethkari's flagship began its death spiral toward the system's star. It was a simple message, broadcast in perfect hegemony standard. The galaxy is under Terra's protection now. Any species that threatens innocent worlds will face the full weight of human engineering and ingenuity. We suggest you evolve faster. As consciousness faded, the Admiral's last thought was a recognition that perhaps evolution itself had been waiting for this moment, when biology would give way to something far more terrifying, the unlimited potential of artificial minds guided by an indomitable human spirit.